What's up, 8th grade? I'm here with your 8th note and 16th note rhythm combinations lesson. Show you how this works. Let's take a look. We're going to take a peek at this note flight example. Remember in note flight, I have to write the ends with this symbol because the pluses always just disappear. Okay? But don't be confused. They're the same thing. They intend to be the same thing. We are going to be combining 8th notes and 16th notes inside of the same beat. Okay? So I want to point out one important thing. The 8th notes, number and the end, are built into the 16th notes, the number and the end. And so 16th notes really are dividing that number part again and then dividing the end part again. So to get this 16th note combination over here, like let's say we're going to change the two end, all we have to do is cut this in half, right? And look, it gives room for another 16th note. And then if we cut this one in half, bam, gives room for another 16th note right here. And that's kind of how that comes about, right? And there's the E and there's the We're dividing it instead of two sounds in one beat, four sounds in one beat. And that's how we ended up with this, okay? And with that said, then there's our E and there's our and we have it. So what we're going to do is mix and match this. So imagine, let's just imagine like, we're in here and we want to keep the beginning of it as the 8th note. So we just do this, make it an 8th note. Bam. Look at that. This is the 2E right there, and there's your enda. See that? If we could underline, we would. See how that works? And let's say we do it here. Let's just extend this one. Let's make these two combine into an 8th note, right? So does that work if I do that? It does. Boom. See, the little E goes away because when you think about it in 16th note divides, it's 3E enda. But the 3E is together, right? It's a little tricky, I know. It's kind of a lot to look at, which is kind of cool. Okay, let's do it to this one. Let's extend our 4, get rid of this E, make the first half of it an 8th note, and the rest of it the two 16th notes. See that? Now I tend to write them just with the number and not the extra 16th note spot missing, although you can, it's up to you. But I feel like you get pretty good at that pattern of 16th notes, and so you see the long one, and then you just quickly tag on the end of it. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and it's like you're able to stop and just think about the divide of that one. Okay, and this is the way we're going to deal with them this week, but there's other ways to combine them. Imagine this. Let's say we take the second, think about it like this, the first 8th note, the second 8th note of these pairs we've known since 6th grade. Let's say we want to combine and leave the second one. So like in this measure, we would start right here and extend this one. Boom. See that? And so now we have the first 8th note of a pair split, but we're keeping the second part of it as an 8th note. Let's do it here too. Ready? Let's extend this one. Boom. See that? So now we have 1E end, 2E end. And if you wanted to, you could write your little and underline it. That's totally fine. You could do that to be thorough, right? So 1E end, 2E end. But a lot of times these go so quick that if you say the you will accidentally clap on it. Same thing over here. If you say the little E, you'll accidentally clap on it, and they go quick enough that I have learned that it's best to just not. If you go slower, it's a lot easier, okay? But usually the 16th notes are kind of quick, and you get good at doing them this way. So it's good to practice this way, okay? And that kind of keeps our rule of always writing the ends, but you don't always have to write every single 16th note divide. All right, there's one more combination that we can use. So we'll practice these more next week, all right? But now you understand how they're formed. The last option would be to extend out this one. This 16th note should become an 8th note. And look at this. Boom. Now that looks fun, doesn't it? Let's do it on this one too. Extend this. So we're going to combine these two to become an 8th note. See that? 2E, 4E, dun dun, dun dun dun. That is syncopated inside of that single beat, right? You know how we've done that syncopation. This is that same kind of syncopation pattern. It's just now built inside of the 16th notes, and that is probably the trickiest one to read quickly. All right, these still feel even on the beats, but these are some tricky ones. So we'll dive into those later in the quarter. But that's how this works. So why don't we try a little bit of this? We will look at an example of it right here. Okay, let's go ahead and label a little of this right here. So we have our 1 end, still writing our ends, 2 end, 3E and 4E and okay, so there's our baseline for how everything is divided in beats. Now we have the first one an 8th note, so there's your number, and then we're dividing our end. 1 and That looks really bad. 1 and 2 and these A's aren't that much better than that first one. 3 and that was okay. 4 and see that? So there's your first pattern. And then down here we keep the 16th notes at the beginning. So this would be 1 E and boom. It just stays. The little isn't there now. 2 whoops E and okay, let's fix it. Can't deal. 2E and that's a plus. 3E and 4E and. So that's keeping the first two and combining the second one, 2 1/8 notes. And here's that weirdly syncopated one. 1E, the end is in there, the end with the 2E and 3E. If there's ever one you're going to write in an underline, it might be this one. It might be that one to do that. It's a lot to write, you know, but that might be the one to keep you straight. This one is a tricky pattern. And then you have 4E and All right, so let's try this. Let's try go ahead and perform it. Let me go split screen so you can see me. I'll do the chest clap and follow along here. Let's go nice and slow. Remember, slow always, especially on something new. Here we go. We got 1 and 2 and 3E and 4E and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1E and 2E and 3E and 4E and 1E, 2E, 3E, 4E. See, it doesn't hurt to actually say the end, but make sure you don't clap it to get the feel of that syncopated 16th, 8th note pattern right in there, okay? And that is our lesson on the 16th note and 8th note combinations, mixing and matching them inside of a beat. The nice part of the whole thing is that they still keep the beats connected. So you can see always that's beat 1. That's beat 2. And you just have to figure out how it got split up and then practice performing them. All right, good luck. I'll see you next time.